You may have heard the phrase, "Who do you think you are, the Queen of Sheba?" This insult is usually aimed at a woman or girl who has acted overly entitled or overstepped their boundary. But how does this phrase actually relate to the legendary queen? To find the answers and gain a better knowledge of this enigmatic figure, keep watching as we count down 5 unknown facts about the Queen of Sheba. Number 5. She is part of many different legends. The oldest mention of the Queen of Sheba is in the Hebrew Bible, which was the basis of the 3 Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Therefore, her story features in the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran. However, she is also a prominent figure in the Ethiopian Kebra and the Kabbalah, as well as Persian and Arabic folklore. She is mentioned twice in the Bible, first as the ruler of the Kingdom of Sheba and second as the queen who visits King Solomon and tests his reportedly sharp intellect by giving him riddles. These riddles are not specified in the biblical text, but are detailed in religious lore with many variations. One of the most widely accepted has to do with menstruation, pregnancy, and birth. After Solomon solves the riddles, the Queen of Sheba is satisfied that his intelligence is God-given, and she converts to Judaism, as the story occurs before the advent of Christianity or Islam. The story of the Queen of Sheba has been embellished by various sources, including the addition of the riddles and their answers. One account in the Aramaic text, the Targum Shani, tells that Solomon hears of Sheba from a bird called a hoopoe. The bird tells him that the Queen of Sheba and her people are the only ones on earth who are not subject to Solomon's power, leading Solomon to send a letter to the queen instructing her to submit to him. She responds in a way that would rival Beyoncé, sending a fleet laden with gifts along with 6,000 young men, all dressed in purple and all the same height, born at the same time on the same day. How she amassed these men is a feat in itself. The fleet then presents Solomon with a message announcing the queen will visit Solomon's court. An Islamic version of the story starts in much the same way. It varies in that instead of Sheba being outside Solomon's power, the queen and her people worship the sun, or the moon in some versions, instead of Allah. And Solomon's intention is to convert the queen to Islam. This version also has Solomon setting the tests of intelligence for the queen. Solomon's jinni, a shape-shifting angel of sorts in Islamic belief, worries that the king might fall for this exotic and wise ruler, so he whispers in the king's ear that she has hairy legs and the hooves of an ass. Naturally, Solomon gets curious and tricks her into showing her feet by laying glass over the throne room floor, which the Queen of Sheba thinks is water. She raises her skirts to avoid getting them wet, revealing human feet, although her legs are very hairy. Solomon tells the queen that only men should have such hairy legs and orders the jinni to create something she can use to remove the hair. In the Kebra, which translates to Glory of King and is an Ethiopian dynastic story, the queen stays at Solomon's court for 6 months to learn from him. The night before she leaves for her home country, Solomon tricks her into sleeping with him. After returning to her kingdom, the queen discovers she is pregnant with a son. But stories about this enigmatic queen don't stop there. The Talmud suggests Sheba wasn't a queen but an entire kingdom. In the Kabbalah, she is considered a queen of demons and associated with Lilith. Some legends state that Nebuchadnezzar is a descendant of the Queen of Sheba, and his destruction of Solomon's temple was retribution for Solomon bedding the queen. Ashkenazi folklore refers to her as a beautiful and seductive dancer. Some claim she murdered her husband to gain power, while others say she took control from an unjust tyrant. The legend of the Queen of Sheba is still evolving today and is undoubtedly an enduring and captivating narrative. Number 4. No physical evidence of her kingdom has been found. The Queen of Sheba was said to have brought gold, spices, and incense as gifts for King Solomon. But the location of this prosperous kingdom is highly debated. The 2 main contenders are Arabia and East Africa. According to some sources, such as the Kebra, Sheba was the ancient kingdom of Aksum in Ethiopia. Others believe it was the kingdom of Saba in modern-day Yemen. However, as the tale of Solomon is usually placed around the 10th century BCE, neither of these kingdoms line up. The case for Saba being Sheba is supported by the fact that several Jewish sources and the Quran associate Sheba with Saba. Assyrian texts also mention that, at its peak, Saba was ruled by Arabian queens. However, the height of Saba's power and success came in the 8th century BCE, 200 years after Solomon's reign. Roman historian Flavius Josephus describes Solomon's visitors as the Queen of Egypt and Ethiopia. Historical links have been made between Saba and Aksum as they faced each other across the Red Sea. However, Aksum also flourished many years after Solomon's reign. Recently, scholars have speculated that Sheba may have been part of Punt's culture, which predates the Aksum culture. Like Sheba, historians disagree on the exact location of Punt, but it is generally agreed that it was southeast of Egypt and north of the Horn of Africa. While nothing has been proven, the 6th century ruins of Dangar Palace in northern Ethiopia are locally known as the Palace of the Queen of Sheba. Of course, given the proximity of Yemen to Ethiopia, it is entirely plausible that the Kingdom of Sheba spanned the Red Sea and counted both areas as part of its territory. Number 3. There are different myths about her parentage. As no one can agree about where the Queen of Sheba came from, it is unsurprising that there are many different theories about her parentage. One theory is that she was the daughter of an Ethiopian queen called Ismeni. In this version of her story, her father was a man named Angabo. Legend has it that a mystical dragon or serpent ruled in East Africa. The Aksumites heard that the monster, Winaba, was heading for Aksum. Angabo promised the people that he would kill the serpent in exchange for the crown. Angabo knew the road that Winaba would take and hid a magical iron weapon under the road surface, killing Winaba. In another version, Winaba rules Aksum, and Angabo comes across the Red Sea from the land of the Sabians and kills the Serpent King by feeding him a poisoned goat. Persian legends have the Queen of Sheba as the daughter of a Chinese ruler and a fairy-like spirit known as a peri, and in some Islamic traditions, she is a jinni, half human, half demon. Several stories do not detail whether her mother or father was a jinni. However, other pre-Islamic and Islamic Arabic tales describe her as the daughter of Hudad, an Arabic king of Himyar in Yemen, who ruled in the 8th century BCE. After Himyar saved an ibex from a wolf, the ibex turned into a beautiful female jinni, who married Himyar and gave birth to the future Queen of Sheba. Number 2. She goes by many names. While the Queen of Sheba is well known, her actual name was never mentioned in the Bible. To correspond with the variety of legends, the Queen of Sheba, as she is known in Jewish and most Christian sources, has various names. She is known as Bilqis in Arabic tales, which is believed to stem from Balmaka, meaning moon worshipper. The story of Bilqis is very closely linked with animals. Her mother is a jinni that takes the form of an ibex. A bird tells Solomon of her existence, and she is accused of having hooves like an ass. In Yemen, the ibex is associated with moon worship. The hoopoe bird is associated with spring and is generally a good omen, and the ass connects Bilqis with demons. Many other legends surround Bilqis, including that she used the help of the jinn to build great dams and that she was a lesbian with hundreds of women in her entourage. Bilqis has had a modern resurgence in interest since she appeared as a character in Neil Gaiman's American Gods, in which she is a long-forgotten but powerful goddess. In Ethiopian texts, she is called Makeda, which translates to pillow. Queen Makeda is portrayed as a wealthy philosopher queen who travels to Jerusalem to engage Solomon in intellectual debate. Unlike other versions, Makeda doesn't set out to test Solomon, but to converse with him about philosophical and religious matters. Makeda leaves Jerusalem as a convert to Judaism and is pregnant with Solomon's child. Their son would go on to rule Ethiopia and start a dynasty. Some Christian sources call her Nicola, and a Coptic poem states it was Queen Yesaba of Cush who challenged Solomon with riddles. In 1995, archaeologists linked the Nigerian legend of Bilikisu Songbo with the Queen of Sheba. Bilikisu Songbo is worshipped by the Okiiri people of Ijebu, where her grave is located. Number 1. Considered to be the mother of Ethiopian nations. The Kebert Nagast details the Ethiopian royal dynasty, which starts with Queen Makeda. Makeda has a son with Solomon, who goes on to rule as Menelik I, the first emperor of Ethiopia. At the age of 22, Menelik takes a ring that Solomon had given to his mother to Jerusalem. After his identity is verified, Solomon welcomes him as a son. When Menelik returns to Ethiopia, Solomon sends the firstborn sons of some Israelite nobles to accompany him. Unbeknownst to Menelik or Solomon, the noble's sons brought with them the Ark of the Covenant, and legend has it that it has been at the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum ever since. Because Queen Makeda and her son are responsible for the Ark coming to Ethiopia, she is regarded as the mother of the Ethiopian people, and her descendants were granted the divine right to rule. Despite Queen Makeda being a sole sovereign, her resulting dynasty is known as the Solomonic dynasty. This dynasty ruled Ethiopia until 1974, when Haile Selassie was deposed. However you feel about the Queen of Sheba, the fact that this powerful and wealthy monarch is included in the oldest monotheistic text is incredible. In the original text, the queen hears of Solomon's wisdom and comes to check it out for herself, bringing along spices, gold, and precious stones. After questioning Solomon and discussing all that was on her mind, she is satisfied that the rumors are true and gives Solomon 120 talents of gold, a great abundance of spices, and precious stones. Never again was such an abundance of spices brought in. After the meeting, she returns to her kingdom, taking the word of God with her. Over the years, some have tried to undermine her independence and power by demonizing her or pairing her off with Solomon. However, her allure is still felt several millennia after her rule. Interestingly, a traditionally patriarchal religion would include the story of this enigmatic and intelligent female figure, and it is equally telling that she is still synonymous with females that are seen to have undue confidence or ideas above their station. So, if anyone ever likens you to the Queen of Sheba, I suggest you reply with, "I wish." How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. To learn more about the Queen of Sheba, check out our book, Queen of Sheba, a captivating guide to a mysterious queen mentioned in the Bible and her relationship with King Solomon. It's available as an ebook, paperback, and audiobook. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.